Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. You guys know what we're here to talk about today. This fella right here, Milan Skriniar, the whole debacle, the whole situation, possibly the worst disaster financially and maybe sportingly, we'll see, for Inter in the last decade or so. It's a really difficult topic to talk about because he is my favorite player at Inter, but also a topic that's very important to talk about right now, of course, with all the news developing and coming out. So today we will have a little timeline of how this disaster happened, the Milan Skriniar timeline, and then discuss obviously steps moving forward and the Curva Nod statement released yesterday regarding the situation. So let's get into it, and you guys make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and obviously I want to get to know your thoughts and opinions on the whole situation. Let's go. So the timeline of this disaster, let's start last season. I mean, in previous videos we've already talked about, if you're Inter fan, what's gone on in previous seasons. Spurs were interested. There was rumors he might be sold or swapped. We've talked about in the past. So he's never been untouchable from the Inter directors and board and stuff like that. But last year, if you guys remember, even after all the disasters that happened, the previous summer with Conte leaving, Lukaku, Hakimi leaving, all the decisions that were made last year, there was a light at the end of the tunnel when Inter were making really, really important renewals to the core of the squad, and that includes, and it started off with Lautaro Martinez, whose contract wasn't expiring. It wasn't an expiring contract. It wasn't an urgent contract expiring, but they gave him a 2026 renewal. We know Barcelona have been sniffing around for ages. Premier League clubs were also strongly interested. The player has valuation above 80 million, and Inter showed how important he is to them by making him center of the project, tripling his salary, going from around 2.5 million net to around 6 million net, to one of the most paid in the squad. Long-term contract, showing him you are important, center of the project. Then Nicolo Barella, he also didn't have an expiring contract, in high demand, one of the best midfielders in the world, maybe the best Italian midfielder around. They showed him, similar to Lautaro, we value you, doubling your salary, one of the highest paid in the team, long-term contract until 2026. Then this one dragged on a little bit longer. Marcelo Brozovic, expiring contract. His one was urgent, and it took, look at that, you can see the date here, March 23rd, to get this one over the line. This one has some parallels to Skriniar in terms of the dates of the expiry. He only had a few months left. He took his time to decide. The big difference that we can see here between Skriniar and Brozovic is that we don't know whether there was a concrete big offer from another team to sign him, like there is from Skriniar for PSG. There was rumors of Barcelona, but we don't know. But in the end, Inter offered what Brozovic wanted, made him highest paid in the team, 6.5 million net, which is not what originally they wanted to do. The initial rumors were around 5 or so million, but Inter realized how important he was. Definitely last season, we remember how the team used to crumble without Brozovic. So I think that was the clincher, and that got him to sign. But there was another guy that needed to be renewed. Just after the Brozovic deal was done in March, there should have been another one that should have been done, dusted, on the table, signed and sealed and delivered. Milan Skriniar, whose contract, as we know, obviously now is expiring in June of this year. He should have been next in line. That one should have been done, but it wasn't. The rumors were, if Inter, they had some form of verbal agreement with him and his agent of around 4.55 million. So, a nice increase on his current 3 million salary. Nowhere near, obviously, the levels that he's getting to now. But that was on the table, and it should have been done. But it wasn't. Inter probably trying to save some money, trying to save a few million, not renewing him now. So we save, a few of those millions we have to pay him. And probably clearly not showing him that you are center of the project like these other guys. These other guys getting these renewals before you, you're not getting them. You almost got sold, or you whenever a team comes for you, we look to negotiate with them like Spurs. So clearly Skriniar sees these guys don't rate me. I'm not rated here. I've been loyal to these guys. I've fired my agent in the past to renegotiate with these guys. He's probably been underpaid for the last few years in terms of his performance. One of the best in Serie A and around Europe for sure. There's no denying that. Which is also why, we as fans built a certain image of Milan Skriniar in our head. His loyalty, his professionalism, his behavior on and off the pitch showed us a footballer that maybe we thought doesn't exist anymore. But obviously, recent actions we may have to re-evaluate that. But anyway, Inter don't renew him. PSG come around, big offer. And every player, we always say that Inter put up players for sale, or Inter tried to sell Skriniar, but every player at Inter, even the guys renewed, Barella, Lautaro, if someone comes and they're interested, there is a price for everyone at Inter at the moment. And the Suning, or in Serie A in general, ask AC Milan and Rafael Leao, like everyone has a price. And, Skriniar, our price, as according to reports, was 70 million, which is what PSG never got, or they got close to. The closest or highest reported offer towards the end of the transfer window was 50 plus 10 million euros, 60 million in total. A good offer for a 27-year-old with 1 year left on his contract. And of course, Interisti, you can say whatever you want right now, but most of the fan base, 90% of the fan base, didn't want this to happen. Hashtag Skriniar non si tocca was trending last year. The whole fan base was against selling Skriniar for these big amounts. Although some of us, even though he's my favorite player in my videos, I was like, it is hard to turn down. And the original plan, as you guys might remember, was Skriniar out, Bremer plus one other defender in, which was maybe Milenkovic from Fiorentina. So, 70 out, and then Bremer 30, and then the other guy maybe 15 to 20 million. So you get, nice money in, but you also have probably some spare change. And also kill two birds with one stone, have also a De Vrij replacement in there too. So strategically, it did make sense, but Juve ended up selling De Ligt to Bayern Munich. Massive income for them. They come for Bremer, steal him right under our nose. They offer Torino more money, Bremer more money. Inter clearly didn't have a plan B. That's the guy they identified as the post Skriniar, and they had no other plan. So they were left, with a big decision on their hand. PSG tried right until the end of the market to get Skriniar, and Inter rejected. But was it too late? I mean, when a player agrees personal terms with a team, personal terms agreed means he's agreed that at this salary, at this certain time, for this length of contract, I agree that I'm going to come to your team and play for your team. So that means he was happy to go after, that's what happens once you start negotiating. You have to let the player negotiate with the team. So Skriniar probably has felt much more love now from PSG. Nasser Al-Khelaifi, apparently big fan of Skriniar. Gautier, their coach. Campos, their sporting director. Apparently they all want Skriniar, which has proven the fact that they wanted him last summer. They came back for him this January, and they want to make sure that he comes in the summer. So he's feeling that love that we want you to be the center of a project, something that we've said Inter clearly have not done with him. They haven't made him feel that, you are the core of this team. You're just as important as Lautaro, Brozovic and Barella to us. And, PSG clearly have done that. Obviously, salary-wise, there's no competition there. 9 million plus bonuses. And now if you're signing for free, massive signing bonus. There's no competition there. But there was other steps, other mistakes made on the way to this that could have prevented this from happening. And again, the mistake was made last summer. There's no denying that was where the mistake was made. The guy had to be renewed. Even if you sell him, you had to renew him. Now you're losing a massive 60, 70, 80 million asset for free. In any other line of work, Beppe Marotta would probably lose his job, because you guys work in day jobs, you work with corporate companies. An asset worth that much, and you end up losing him for free. That's just a disaster. That is an absolute unmitigated disaster from one of the greatest directors in the history of Italian football, Beppe Marotta, as well. So this is going to go down as a big stain on his CV. There's no denying that. In the last few days, obviously, we know what's happened. There's lots of reports and news coming out. I think some even fake news coming out of, Skriniar's behavior. He's reported to even have pushed for the move in January. PSG came back for him. The reports are that they never got near 20 million. Apparently Inter were ready to let him go in January for 20 million. But their latest offer, best offer, was around 12 million in total, including bonuses, which Inter rejected. And I probably think it was more to do to the fact that they couldn't find the replacement in time, or secure the replacement in time. And again, just like, with Bremer last summer, it seemed like, it was just Demiral trying to find an Italian team that will do you a favor, loan with option or something, those kind of deals, rather than, the players abroad, but you have to pay up front. So again, the Inter strategy and scouting. But yeah, this is where the contrast comes, with Skriniar, the Skriniar that we had as fans in our head, this guy that, is loyal, fires his agent, Inter through and through. So his head's clearly turned. As we said, like, there's rumors of him even trying to push the move in January. That is not a good look. People have even compared him to Icardi, but guys, short memory. Icardi is uncomparable. What stuff Icardi did, refusing to play for this club, making up injuries, or the stuff his wife was doing on media, slandering teammates. There's no comparison to what Skriniar has done. So I don't even want to hear that, to be honest, this guy. And I know a lot of fans are very frustrated with him. I'm hearing strong words like rat, snake, things like that, which, it's fair enough if you feel disappointed. But I think in totality, you can see that the mistakes were made by management over, a long span of time with Skriniar. And this led to this moment. But Skriniar's behavior, especially the last few weeks, when he sent his agent out to talk instead of himself, on some random TV station whilst he was playing against Empoli, whilst he was getting red carded against Empoli, which the red card showed, how distracted or affected he was by all these talks as well, because we've never seen Skriniar do that. So I've been personally, as I said, my favorite player at Inter. I've been calling for him to be captain for a while. So yeah, as Marotta said, the bandieras, or the long-term, lifelong players that stay at a club clearly don't exist anymore. We know that in modern football, but with Skriniar there was some form of ideal, profile that seemed like maybe this guy could be one of those last bandieras in football, but it wasn't to be. Originally the thumbnail to this video, people that follow me on Twitter will know, I've had the thumbnail for a Skriniar goodbye video ready since last summer, because I thought he was already leaving last summer. I've changed it slightly for this video because it looks like we may know some truth coming out in the next coming days from the Curva Nord, of course, the historic ultra group that follows Inter since 1969, the most famous one anyway. They talk about, they've had a conversation with Milan Skriniar regarding this whole situation, and after hearing his reasons behind his decision, they've decided not to take a position against his decision of leaving Inter. And this conversation they've had with Skriniar will be documented in a fanzine, so like a little magazine they create, and this fanzine will be given out at the next derby on Sunday against Milan, which will explain everything that was said. So I'm looking forward to seeing the full story, or the conversation that they had, and what led them to this decision, which I also agree with, by the way. So they said, we invite Interisti to respect his decision, and the player, aside from his professional decisions, he remains part of the team, of a team that has results to achieve until the end of the season. L'Inter prima di tutto sempre. So Inter before everything, always, 100%. I don't want to, again, I always disagree with Booze. I've said this many times on my channel. Even Correa, again, the other day against Atalanta, he came on 85th minute. He was booed when he came on. Skriniar, he will be reintegrated in the team, whether you like it or not. He still is our best defender, the leader at the back. As Marotta says, we don't expect anything less than 100% from Skriniar going forward until the end of the season. That's what I expect as well. I still would like to see some form of statement directly from Skriniar. He doesn't owe us anything. He doesn't owe Interisti anything. But I think the situation that he himself created around himself with his action and his agent, I think something would help just to clear the air, so the toxic atmosphere at least is dissipated, and we can continue at least in some form of drama-free, or it's never drama-free with Inter, but some form of drama-free way until the end of the season. Of course, Darmian the other day did fantastically in his role in his absence, but Champions League, Coppa Italia, top 4 to achieve in Serie A. Inter are still the only team in all the competitions. We've got lots left to achieve, and we need Milan Skriniar for that. I hope Interisti will understand that. Even if you don't boo him, you don't have to be cheering for him or singing his name, just indifference. I think that's why I keep saying indifference now for me until the end of the season. I wore this t-shirt today to, cover the topic, but obviously the love for Skriniar isn't there as it was before. But he's a professional. He's made his choices. It is what it is. And yeah, that was my video going through the timeline. Hope I tried to cover most of the things. Of course, there's also his statements that he's released over times where, I want to be Inter Hamsik, and, other love statements that he sent to Interisti, which obviously aggravates us now, or elevated the love that we had for him before. So yeah, I've tried to cover everything as best as I can. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and obviously what I'm looking forward to most is getting your opinions in the comments down below. Please try to be respectful and not try to be using derogatory words in the comments, whether you agree with me or not. Always Skriniar, let me know. Leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. See you for the preview of the Milan derby in the coming days. Ciao ragazzi, always Forza Inter. Inter will be here with or without Milan Skriniar. Inter is bigger than any single player. Forza Inter sempre.